Hello friends, welcome back to Digitalk. So I have covered multiple videos on the WebLogic server 14.1.2 version, which is released recently. Okay, there are a lot of enhancements, a lot of changes are there in 14.1.2. So one of the major enhancements that we have discussed so far is about that the traditional admin console is no longer available. Okay, instead of that, you have to use the WebLogic remote console. Okay, so I have posted few videos on this earlier, but this video is I'm going to extend the session with few more details, few more knowledge, specifically on the remote console. So now, as we know that in 14.1.2, the traditional admin console is no longer available, and for that we have a WebLogic remote console. So far what we have covered is that it is like a client tool which you can install on your machine, and with the help of that, you can register the remote WebLogic domain, okay, to do the operations or to manage the domain. Right. So now, but there are multiple ways for the installation and accessing this remote console. Okay. So it's not specifically that it is available as a client tool, but it has an option where you can deploy this uh, remote console on your running admin server as well. And that you can access with the help of browser, just like the traditional admin console we access. Okay, but it will not, the look and feels will not like the traditional WebLogic console that we have till 14.1.1 and earlier versions. Okay, so the look and feel almost same. Whatever you will see in the remote console client tool, the same will you will see in the WebLogic remote console, hosted WebLogic remote console. Specifically, a term that we use for that is called the hosted WebLogic remote console because this is an admin console application that we deploy on the admin server, and then we access it with the help of browser. Now, why we have this kind of option that there is a version for the client tool which you can install on your local desktop or machines, and you can access the admin console, the domain, and why we have a parallel option where you can deploy it on the admin console access, and then you can access with the help of browser. Right. So there are certain different reasons for that one. I will explain you all these things along with the different ways how to access the remote console, how to install that, and what are the different ways to access that. Okay, so let me give you some brief about the remote console. So WebLogic remote console is a lightweight open source console to manage the WebLogic server domain. So this remote console is nothing specific new. Okay, it has been released by the Oracle long back as an open source tool, okay, which you can install in your local machine, and then where you can register the multiple domains and you can manage your domains with the help of this particular remote console tool. Okay, but this specifically available from the 12.2.13 onwards. That means if you are running the 12.2.13, 12.2.14 or 14.1.1 and the latest version which is 14.1.2, then for all these versions you can use the remote console tool. Okay, so one thing is very clear, it is not specifically for 14.1.2. It was released long back. Okay, and it is supported since 12.2.13. But the difference is that till 12.2.13, 12.2.14 and 14.1.1, the traditional WebLogic admin console is available. But now from 14.1.2 onwards, the traditional admin console is no longer available. You have only option the remote console. Right. So the main advantage of this remote console is that it is not need to be co-located with the WebLogic server domain. That means it's not really required to be have inside the same domain, right? That means when we install the WebLogic and when we create the domain, right, by default, this admin console application is deployed on the admin server, and that we access with the help of browser. But now with the help of this remote console, there is no specifically tightly coupled integration with the WebLogic. That means you can install it separately on your local machine, and then you can register the multiple domains and you can manage all the domains from the single location. Okay, that means it's not required to be co-located in the same domain. Right, and it can reside on your local machine and connect to any remote WebLogic domain that may be installed on a physical, virtual, or container Kubernetes or any cloud. That means irrespective of your WebLogic server, where exactly it is running, whether it is running on your local machine, it is running on some virtual machine, it is running inside some Docker containers or maybe some other containers, it is running in the Kubernetes cluster, or maybe it is running anywhere on the cloud. You only need to enable the communication between your local machine and the machine where your WebLogic is running. And with the help of remote console, you can integrate or you can create the connection between your domain, and then you can manage it from your local machines. Okay, that means a single remote console can connect to multiple WebLogic domains for the management. Right, this I have covered from which version onward this remote console was available. Now, how to install this remote console? So we have three different ways, and I'm going to explain you each and every one. Okay. So firstly, this is the link. This is the link for the official Oracle WebLogic open source repository in the GitHub, and from there you can download the all the different kind of a versions that is available for the remote console. So let me go here. Okay. So this is the location. Okay. So here you will see the current version as of today is 2.4.16, 2.4.16, right? And if you scroll down here, then you will see the different kind of a versions here. Now it is completely dependent on what kind of a OS you are running. Okay, if you are running on Mac, maybe running on the Linux, you are on a Windows. So for that you have a different kind of installers. Okay, for example, if you see here, this is the installer for the Windows, and this is an exe installer. That means you can download it and you can double click on it, and just like we install the softwares in the Windows, we can install like that one. Apart from that, if you would like to go with a zip installer, not with the exe, then you have this option. This is a zip installer for the Windows. You can download it, extract the zip file, and inside that you will find a console.jar file, which we are going to access the remote console. I am going to show you this one as well. Okay, so these are the two options for the Windows. Similarly, if you have a Linux, then you can you can download the Linux zip version, or if we have the RPM version, would like to go with the RPM version, then you have a RPM version of Linux as well. Similarly, we have different installers for the different kind of a machines or OS that you are using. Right. This is the second thing. And let me cover it further. So now these are the different kind of installer that I have explained. Now specifically for Windows, as I said, if you have exe installer, then you can download the exe, double click on the exe. Okay, so this is the exe installer which I have downloaded. You double click on this one, it will initiate a software. Okay, which is a traditional software, the way we use for installation of the software on the Windows. Okay, you can follow this. You can provide a location for the installation. Okay, so once this is installed, you will see a icon on your desktop like this one, WebLogic Remote Console. Okay, this I have covered in the previous sessions as well. But if you have missed that, and I am explaining again, so you can double click on this one, and it will take some time for the initialization. Okay, and after that it is initialized, you can register your WebLogic domain here, and you can manage your domain from here. So this is the first option. Okay, which is the .exe install. Okay, apart from that, I have said that you have a zip installer as well, .zip. So once you will extract the zip installer, let me show you. So this is the zip installer which I have extracted, and after that it has created this particular directory. I go inside the directory here. If I go inside the backend, so inside the backend you will see a file called console.jar. So this is the main file, console.jar, which we use to access the remote console, right? And how to run this console.jar? Simple java-jar and then console.jar. You have to run this command. So once you will run this command, your remote console tool will be started, and it will be started on the port 8012 by default. So you can go to browser, and in browser you can enter this URL. Here you can give your DNS or IP address and port 8012. And with the help of this, you can access the remote console. This is the second option. Okay. So the first option which I have explained, exe installer, download, install it, and then a shortcut will be created on your machine. So this is, you can see here, this is the interface for your remote console. Okay, so here let me show you. Let me first what I will do, I will just delete this one. Okay, so now what we can do, we can register a new domain here. So you can see here I have a domain already there, demo domain. Okay, I can delete this one. Now, so suppose this is the first time you are opening this one, then there is no domain. Okay, so you can go with the first option, which is add admin server connection provider to register a domain here. Click choose. You can provide any name here. Okay, for example, let me give DG domain 1. Okay, or I can give as a my it is my production domain. So let me give production domain 1. You can give any name which is suitable to you according to your customer name or your project or whatever you want. Here we have to specify the username and password that you have given during the creation of the domain. Okay, so this is the default URL which will go with the port 7001 for admin server. So now because I have installed without SSL, so I will click on the make insecure connection. Click on OK. So here you can see the domain has been registered, which you can see from providers as well. So this is the domain which we have registered. here. Okay. Now suppose similarly, if you would like to register the multiple domain here, you can click on here and then click on add admin server connection provider. You can provide the detail here, and the second domain will also be visible here in the providers list. Similarly, you can register the multiple domains, and all domains you can manage from the single location. Right. So now if you go here, you have different trees, which I have explained in the previous session. What is the purpose of all these trees? Okay. So let me go with the edit tree, and here if you go to deployment, or maybe you can go for the environment, then go servers. Okay. And here it will show you the complete configuration of your servers. So currently I have one admin server and two managed server in the domain. Okay. I have some problems here. Okay. Let me close it. Okay, now this is done. The first part is completed where we have seen how to register with the help of exe installer. Now, if I show you how to run your this zip installer where you have a console.jar file, right? So for that one, as I said, you have to go to the location where you have a console.jar file. So let me go to here. Okay, so I will go to here. Okay, and here we have to run java hyphen jar and then console.jar. Okay, so this will initiate a Java process for the remote console, and once it is up and running, it will initiate the remote console by default on port 8012, and we can access the remote console tool with the help of browser. Now, what is the difference? With the help of this exe tool, there was a client. Now, when we are doing it with the help of this zip installer and with the help of console.jar file, we have to access it with the help of browser. This is the main difference coming here, right? So now here you can see it is initiated, and here you can see it is started on the port 8012 by default, right? So now if I take this particular URL and I go to the browser and then let me hit here 8012. Okay, it is not secure, so I have to go with the without SSL. So now here you can see the same thing what we have seen for the tool, exe tool, right? Same thing we are getting when we are accessing with the help of browser, right? So add admin server and connection provider here. You can select the first option, and here you can provide the name. Let me give the prod domain. Username is WebLogic, and then the password. This is the URL insecure connection. Let me click on OK. Okay, so I'm getting some problem. This could be due to certain network issues in my local machine. So for that, what I can do, I will just do a restart of my admin server quickly. Right. So in a nutshell, this is the same process. So what I have explained to you, this is the first option I have shown to you where you can run with the help of exe. This is the second option, which you can run with the help of zip file as well. Okay. So now if you are on a Linux machine, so these two options we have seen on the Windows. Now if you are on a Linux machine, the process is exactly same what we have seen for the Windows zip installer. Just extract this zip file in the Linux and go inside the backend folder. Wherever you have extracted this particular Linux zip file, go inside the backend folder. Inside the backend folder, you will see this console.jar file, and there you can run the same command which we have run in the Windows, which is java-jar.console.jar. Right? And once you will run this command, make sure to Linux to run it in the background. Otherwise, what will happen? Otherwise, if you close the putty session or whatever the SSH tool that you have used to run this particular command, if that is closed, your remote console will also not accessible. So once you will run on the Linux machine, you can add the ampersand and the and so that the process can start in the background. And then go to your browser and access this particular URL. Okay, and then once it is there, you can able to see like this one. Okay. Okay, so admin server is up and running. Let me see if it is resolved or not. Let me give the prod domain, username WebLogic, WebLogic 123, port 7001. Let me try to create insecure connection. Okay. So now we are on the web browser. Okay, so this is the same what we have seen here for the tool as well. So this is a remote console tool. And the same thing we are seeing on the browser as well. And how we access that? With the help of java-jar console.jar. Same command if you are on the Windows and using the zip installer. Same command when you are on the Linux machine and using the Linux zip installer. Okay, and the same port and the same way you have to access from the browser. So these are the way how we can install it in the Linux machine and how we can start it and how we can access or register your domain with the help of remote console tool in the two way. The first one is the exe tool, client tool. Second is with the zip installer on the Windows machine as well as on the Linux machine. So now let me tell you few more interesting things. So now there is a extension for this remote console, okay, which is called the management services extension. Okay, this extension is a separate var file. When you deploy this particular var file in your remote console, then it allow you certain more functionalities that you can use with the help of remote console. If you are not going to enable this particular extension, then those functionality will not be available in your remote console. Okay, so there are multiple functionalities that is enabled by this extension var file. Okay, so few of them are access the security data tree respectively, edit security data that is stored in the embedded address server. For example, we create the username, roles, groups. Okay, so there are lot of security related configurations that you can access with the help of once you will deploy this extension var file. Similarly, create and edit application deployment plans, manage JMS messages like to import, export, or delete messages. If you want to manage the transactions, like you want to import, export, and delete the transactions, you would like to test the data source and connections, you would like to view the JNDI structures, and many more. There are a lot of other uh, features that is available with the help of this extension only. So that means when you install this remote console, okay, along with that, it is important for you to install this particular management console as well. Okay. And now the deployment of this extension is not straightforward. That means it is a straightforward, but that means it is not a traditional deployment. There is a specific way for that one. And what is that? That is defined in the installation document. Okay. First, you have to create a directory with the name of management services ext in the domain. Okay. So let me create this folder inside my domain. So this is my domain. And here I am going to create a new folder with the name of management services ext, right? This is done. Now you have to copy this var file, console extension var file, to this location which we have created. Now from where you have to get this var file? It is again from the same location, same git repository which I have shown to you. So here once you go to download section where we have seen the different kind of softwares to be downloaded for remote console, the topmost at the top you will see console rest extension 2416.var file. This is the current version. Okay, so this I have downloaded in my system. So let me take it from here. Okay, where exactly it is? Okay, it is not there. So what I will do, I will quickly download this file from here only. Okay, it's only 846 KB. So now once this file is downloaded, you have to place this file inside this folder you have created inside the domain, right? And after that, you have to just restart your admin server. So once you will restart your admin server, it will automatically look for this particular directory inside the domain, and it will automatically deploy this particular var file in your admin server, and which you can see in the log files as well. So once you will completed these steps, and once you will start your admin server, you will see some message in the log file like info. This WebLogic remote console extension is installed, right? So now what I will do, I will quickly go to my download section. This is the file. I will take it from here and I will go to my domain. So this is a folder that I have created, management services ext, and I have copied it here, right? So now what is the next? I have to shut down my admin server and I have to restart my admin server. Okay. So after this one, this will automatically deploy this particular console extension for you. And after that, all the features that is available only with the help of this console extension var file will now be available for you on the remote console. So that means what important thing, what we have learned, new thing we have learned here. Once you install the remote console tool, After that, make sure to install this console extension as well. The process is very straightforward. Download this console file, create a directory with this particular name inside the domain, copy this var file inside your domain, and then restart your admin server. That's it, and your console action extension will be up and running. Right. So till this admin server is going to be restarted, let me tell you one more interesting way to access this remote console. Okay. So now what exactly it is, which is called a hosted WebLogic remote console. That means you have the option to directly deploy this remote console tool on the admin server as well and access with the help of browser, just like we are accessing the traditional console. The only difference is that look and feel will be like this one, exactly like this one, what we are seeing here. Okay, so why this functionality is there? Because many customers like the banking and government organizations, they have strictly restrictions that do not allow employee to be install any software on their laptop or desktop. There are the admin access mostly you will see has been restricted. So that means the employees are not able to install any kind of a softwares in their local systems because they do not have admin access. So now if they will try to go with this particular installations, either zip file, exe files, and to start some services, right, it will be restricted. So in that case, such kind of a clients will not able to access the admin console, right? So to accommodate this strict requirement, Oracle has introduced the hosted remote console. So this tool is a package with WebLogic server installer, but it is not part of the internal WebLogic application itself. Okay, so it's a separate deployment file which is not part of your WebLogic server. Right. So both the remote desktop console and hosted remote console offer the same core functionality for configuring and monitoring WebLogic domains. They both rely on WebLogic REST API to interact with the WebLogic server admin. So these remote console tool interact with the backend WebLogic domain with the help of WebLogic REST APIs. Okay, they are utilizing the REST APIs. Now they are providing the same kind of functionalities, but yes, apart from that, there are certain things that is available on the desktop remote console, because this is based on the build based on the electron. So that means it offers the enhanced features such as saving user properties, remembering custom searches, and storing configuring settings. There are certain features, certain things that you can do only with the help of desktop remote console, which we have seen so far. Right. So now if you have this kind of a requirement where the installation of the remote console is not feasible on the local machine, so you can go for the hosted WebLogic remote console. Now how to configure and install this hosted remote console? So let me explain you that process as well. Okay, let me first see the process here. Okay, now I can see it is started. Now to deploy your admin console to using as a hosted WebLogic remote console, first you have to start the admin server, which we have started. Second, you have to go to your Oracle home, the Oracle underscore common bin location. Okay, because here you have to run the WLST script and a script which is the name of remote underscore console underscore deployment dot py. This is a default script that is provided by the WebLogic. Okay, which you will see inside the WebLogic home server bin folder. Okay, so this script you have to run with the help of WLST. Okay, and by giving the URL of your admin server, username and password you have to specify in a txt file, and then you have this txt file you have to pass like this one. Okay, and you have to run this command. Once you will run this command, okay, your WebLogic remote console tool will be deployed in the hosted way. Okay, so let me show you this, quickly show you this as well. Okay, so let me go to my middleware home. Okay, let me go to middleware and then WebLogic and then Oracle common and then bin. Okay, so here what you need to do, we have to run the wlst.sh or the cmd on the Windows to run this Python script which is using the WLST. Right, so I have to go inside this one. So right now I'm there, and here we have to run the WLST script. So let me go to command prompt, and what is the command that we have to run? WLST.cmd. If you're on a Windows, if you're on a Linux, then you have to run the .sh. Okay, and this is the location where you have the this particular py file by default by the installation. Let me go to this location and show you as well. So this is the WebLogic home, and then we have to go to common, we have to go to bin. So, sorry, let me show you that location. This is Oracle. This is server and bin. Okay, this is server and then bin. So this is the py file that you will see with the default with the software with the WebLogic. So this py file we have to run, right? And what is the command for that one? This is the command to run. So now we are running from the bin location, Oracle common bin location. So we have to ensure this file is there. Okay, so let me go to my location again, Oracle common and then bin. Let me see. Yeah, this is the password file and where I have written the password of my WebLogic domain, simple in a plain text format, right? So once this file is done, you have to run this particular command, which is going to deploy the hosted remote console. Okay, it will connect to your WLST. After connecting, it will initiate this particular py file, which will deploy the hosted remote console on your WebLogic server by connecting this particular host. So make sure to change the DNS or IP of your admin host port accordingly. If it is not 7001, specify your username, and in this file specify the corresponding password of your admin user, right? So once this is deployed, we can access this remote console with the help of this URL, which is the your host DNS or IP of your admin server, port of your admin server, and then R console. Okay, this is the URL once this file has been deployed successfully. Okay, so now if we compare what we have seen so far, first we have seen for the Windows, where we have access as a tool, client tool. With the help of zip installer, we have ran the java-jar console.jar and access it as a DNS colon 80122 port by default. Now we are doing in the hosted environment. That means we are directly deploying this remote console on the admin server. Okay. And to access that one, once it is deployed, the URL is your admin host DNS IP or DNS and then port of your admin server and then R console. This is the way to access the hosted admin server, right? So let me go to here. Let me see the status. Now you can see the deployment has been deployed successfully. Okay, that means the hosted admin console application is deployed. Okay, so now we can access this from the browser with the help of this particular URL. Let me go to here and let me give it a R console. Now you can see this is the console of your WebLogic admin in the hosted way. Okay, so we can specify the username and password when we click on sign one. And once we click on sign one, you can see that the graphical interface is exactly same what we have seen for the exe installer, what we have seen for the console.jar option, zip file options, and the same way we are getting for the hosted option as well with the help of R console. So once you will log in here, so you don't need to register here because by default, once you will access this one, you will see hosted WebLogic remote console here and just need to click on this server. You will click on this server and your domain will be registered here. Now you go to different options and different navigations. Okay, you can able to see your complete domain configurations here, right? So a lot of stuff, a lot of things you have to do, right, to now to access the admin console. But again, this is a requirement of the time. Okay, based the requirement based on the times. We have to go with the different latest ways or technologies, right? So now based on your requirement, you have to use any of the available option for the remote console. Okay, this is the URL for the download and this is the URL from the Oracle for all this information. So if you need this documentation, you can write to us at digitalk.fmw at gmail.com. Okay, send a mail to us on this email digitalk. Sorry, this is digitalk. Okay, digitalk.fmw at gmail.com. Okay, we will send this document to you. Thank you.